It's actually funny how once considered a burden, data has become the most important thing in our times. Data is actually the new oil. It's the most important asset the companies can have these days. In the upcoming US elections, we are going to see how data is again going to play a dominant role. So I remember when I started my first job, and it was a kind of part-time job just after my first year college examinations. Many of us go to on vacations and holidays. I decided to instead work and gain some work experience. So the kind of job was a BPO job, and we were asked to just do data entry jobs, take calls and upload some data and try to do some research out of those data. And that job was super boring. That made no sense to us. So how I wish I could go back in time and try to gain more experience out of the same job which I once detested. So today the scenario has changed 360, and today there is something called data science and the art of extracting meaningful information and insight out of the same data and pattern. So what I'm trying to say is, these days it is literally impossible to stop companies to use your data. It's very difficult. I mean, the process is futile to even think of debarring companies to use your data, because in one way or the other, very smartly, they are going to play with the clauses, and very smartly they are trying to steal your data. What I'm more concerned is about, even if you are trying to have my data and steal my data, you have no permission to manipulate my data. You have no permission to misuse my data. So the focus should be more on asking companies not to misuse the data, not on probably on this side. You cannot. If we can make one such world where companies cannot use our data, nothing better than that. But as far as I can see it, we are passed through that phase, and it's very, very difficult to stop companies to use your data, because we all are surrounded by these big elephants all these days: Microsoft, Google, Apple, Oracle, all these companies. It's very difficult to completely shun all these products. So we may not be in a position to stop companies to use our data, but we can tell them, we can give them a stern message that you cannot misuse my data, you cannot manipulate my data, and without my consent. So we need, the more important aspect, as I say it, is to make stringent copyright laws on data, on data security and safety. Laws should be enforced, and a stern message should be passed to the companies that, hey, if you do this, you are going to get blacklisted. So if that message goes to the company, probably they will think twice before even trying to manipulate your data. So yeah, if at all you are so much adamant, if you at all you want to stop me so much, you want my data, all right, still you have no right to misuse it. First, you have no right to use my data without my consent, but all right, you can, you are trying to smartly take away my data in one way or the other. Still you have no right to misuse my data, you have no right to manipulate my data. So the focus, as I said, the whole thinking part of the world community should come together and ensure that data should not be misused or manipulated without the user's permission.